It's a mic on. I'd like to go ahead and call the school board meeting of Tuesday, June 4th at 5:30 to order. We begin each meeting with an invocation, which will be led by Tina Pinkerson from Florida School Board Association. Wait just a minute. We got several things. You can go on up there. Followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Dr. Rasmussen, Principal Bellalago, and our mission statement will be read by Dr. Chandra Evans, Principal at Osceola County School for the Arts, and our translation services by Belinda Reyes, our Director of Multicultural. So if you would, please silence your cell phones and rise with me. And Tina, if you would.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for allowing me to do this. Pray with me, please. Dear Heavenly Father, you can feel the excitement in the air, and I just thank you for each of the people that are here tonight. May I thank you for the board, the superintendent, her team, and all those that are doing the best that they can for our students. Lord, I just ask that you would bless this meeting. May they do your will, and may we as educators just spread your joy and your knowledge to all of the students. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated.
Yeah, thank you. You just stole Mr. Thacker's joke.
Nothing to do.
Mission statement: inspiring all learners to reach their highest potential as responsible, productive citizens.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Belinda Reyes, and I'm here to provide translation services. Buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Belinda Reyes y estoy aquí para proveer servicios de traducción.
Thank you. Brings us to our first presentation. I'm sorry. Positive comments. I skipped it. Sorry.
Okay, so welcome everyone. I just want to quickly point out that the board members and myself, as well as the superintendent and some of the other the assistant superintendents, attended graduations, and I am just so proud to be a part of this board where we do value academic excellence and where I was inspired to be on this board just by looking at the accomplishments of all of our high school graduates. So I just want to point that out. We have an excellent school district, and I am so proud to serve on this board.
I don't have any. Mr. Booth? Mr. Weisser? Okay. Hearing none, now we can move to presentations. I was almost there. We have a master board certification, which will be presented by Tina Pinkerson from the Florida School Board Association, and Tina is the head of their training and has to deal with us and put up with us and make us behave occasionally.
I didn't say anything, but it is a pleasure to be here. I am Tina Pinkerson. I am the director. Can I face this way? The Director of Leadership Services for the Florida School Boards Association. And one of the training opportunities and professional development opportunities that we offer is not just for school board members themselves to gain knowledge, but research shows that boards who are able to work together with their superintendent impact student achievement in their district. Many times you'll pick up the newspaper and you might see some things that are going on in other school districts around that are not positive. Those things make an impact on the students. And so we offer Master Board Training, which is a 20-hour program where your board and your superintendent work together to learn leadership strategies. This year, because they have a lovely addition to their board and only lost one board member in the last election, they were able to go through a mini reinstatement program, which was 7 hours. They did that. They had time together. It's things like talking about that mission statement that you heard. But it is a testament to your board, and it should make you feel good as a community that they are doing what they can to impact students in their district. And there's only 17 master boards right now in the state of Florida out of 67 counties. We're working with about 20 more to get there, but it shows you their willingness to work and to go through professional development for the students in your county. So it is with great pleasure that I give you your plaque. I have a photographer over here. I get in trouble if I don't tweet him. I have to tweet him. I believe he's got a new job.
It's summertime.
We want to thank all you guys coming tonight.
Just
Nice. It's so nice to have another female up here.
It's lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm ready.
I didn't even wear my tie. So, I went with the silver tie, no tie.
Tina, thank you very much. Thank you for making the trip down from Gainesville to do that.
Not a problem.
We appreciate it.
Head back that way. It looks like rain.
Oh, good.
Gosh.
Well, good luck.
Good luck. Be careful.
The turnpike usually doesn't have very many people on at
This time of
5:30.
day, there won't be
It's
much.
good.
I am so looking forward to it.
Easy sailing.
You should be back within 3 hours, 3.5. No
Four,
problem.
maybe. Be
Thank
good.
you.
See you. Recognition of History Fair competitors, Renee Clayton and Vicki Hickey.
Good evening, board members and Dr. Pace. Every year, National History Day frames student research within a historical theme. The theme is chosen for the broad application to world, national, or state history and its relevance to ancient history or the more recent past. The 2018-19 theme is Triumph and Tragedy in History. Students are expected to use evidence from their research to explain how the topic has influenced history. In some cases, school-wide contests are held, but this year, most of our contestants went straight to the State History Day in Tallahassee. The top 2 entries in each category at the affiliate contest level are invited to the national contest. That will be held June 9th through the 13th this year at the University of Maryland in College Park. Annette Kalu from Curriculum and Instruction is with us to introduce our participants and share their work.
Good evening. I would like to thank Mr. Allen, Mrs. Clayton, Dr. Reinhardt, Secretaries Tanya Snellings and Katrina Thompson for their continuous support. I want to like to thank Celebration K-8 School, Narcoossee Middle, Harmony Community School, Osceola County School for the Arts, Celebration High, and St. Cloud High. All of these schools worked tirelessly and participated in their school fairs and district competition. I would also like to thank district resource teachers Kelly Cotton and Rhonda Weber, and teachers Lisa Yan, Stephanie Jackson, Jessica Lehman, Laura Porterreal, and Emily Pajot for their countless hours of dedication to our students. Many of our students participated in the school's history fair, and Osceola County was able to advance 14 students to the State History Day in Tallahassee, Florida on May 6th and 7th. This is a very elite group of students, and it was great for Osceola students to take part in the state's History Day, especially being able to have a group advance to the national competition in Maryland next week. Students, we appreciate all of your hard work, focus, and the time you spent participating in the History Fair. On top of all the other schoolwork assigned to you, you should feel very proud of yourselves, and we're very honored for you to represent Osceola County. Dr. Pace and Board Chairman Thacker, would you please come forward to join us in recognizing our amazing students? For our junior division, in the individual exhibit, we have Xavier Rivera from Osceola County School for the Arts. We also have Alexis Field from Narcoossee Middle School. For the group documentary, we have Sarah Ortiz and Savannah Richardson from Harmony Community School. For the group exhibit, we have Ava De Leon and Samuel Riley from Narcoossee. And last on our Junior Division group website, we have Evan Hartsville, Edio Martini, and Thomas Vasquez from Celebration Community School. For our Senior Division, for individual documentary, we have Noah Jenkins from St. Cloud High School. Individual exhibit, we have Jaylene Zapata from Celebration High School. For group website, we have Mackenzie Riley and Geraldo Salcedo from Osceola County School for the Arts. And group exhibit, Alondra Curette, Bailey Palmer, and Peter Zeladon from Osceola County School for the Arts. We would like to take this time to recognize Noah Jenkins for a special award. He won the Special County Award, the Economic Freedom Award from the James Madison Institute from St. Cloud High School. And last but not least, we do have our group exhibit students who scored second place in nationals at the state of Florida in their exhibit titled The Tuskegee Syphilis Study Strategy and Triumphant Medical Morality. We have Alondra Curette, Bailey Palmer, and Peter Zeladon going to University of Maryland next week. Thank you so much.
Let's gather closely. I'm sure they want some pictures. Everybody kind of turn to the side, squeeze in here. Congratulations.
Congratulations, guys. Congratulations.
Dr. Pace, whenever you're ready, it's going to bring us to administrative appointments. I believe you have a couple.
I have a few, Mr. Thacker. Thank you so much, and thank you, Board, for your consideration. I'd like to invite Ashton Terry to the podium, please. Board members, I am so excited to again bring forward a group of people, many of whom have grown up within our district and been a part of our leadership development program, to complete our leadership teams in time for our Administrator Academy, which starts tomorrow. So I am pleased to recognize Ashton Terry to become the principal of Koa Elementary School. He's been a teacher at Cypress Elementary, a teacher at Eastlake Elementary, the learning resource specialist and assistant principal at PAFA. He slightly lost his mind for a little while and went to Orange County, but found his way back home. He has a bachelor's degree in education from Ohio University and a master's degree in educational leadership from the University of Central Florida. And I'm super excited that Mr. Terry would be prepared to lead COA forward.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Weishauer, the second by Mr. Booth. Board, any further questions, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those like sign, motion carries 5-0. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I want to thank the school board for entrusting me with this awesome responsibility to remain in Point Siena. Thank you, Dr. Pace, Dr. Fritz, and Dr. Respis. I want to thank my support group tonight. I have my wife, Elizabeth, my son, Ashton Jr., my daughter, Madeline, my mom, who was able to make it, and yesterday was her birthday. I hope this was a good present for you, Mom.
and my wife's principal at Valley Creek, Rhonda McMahon. I've worked for 3 great principals in my career, 2 of which are here tonight, Stacy Burdette, Sherry Turchi, and Kim Dos Santos. Without them, I definitely would not be here. PAFA, we had 6 great years. I will never forget them. I will miss you, and you will continue to do great things under Dr. Dos Santos. And COA, you're going to get a guy that gives it 100% every day. I'm very excited to lead your school. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now if I could invite Randy Wheeler to the podium. Board, as Mr. Wheeler is approaching, I'm pleased to recommend him for one of our coordinators of transportation, as we have 2 retirements pending in that department. He has been a manager of operations and project development and senior fleet administrator for Orange County Public Schools, assistant director and acting director for transportation services for Brevard Public Schools, and currently is serving in our transportation department as a supervisor of operations. He received his AA degree from Valencia College, and he served in the U.S. Army Reserve as an aviation officer during a variety of active duty assignments, including Operation Desert Shield and Desert Storm. And I am pleased Mr. Wheeler would bring some great leadership to help Mr. Creech and our transportation department move forward.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Booth with a second by Mr. Weishauer. Any comments?
Thank you for your service.
Just thank you for your service, too, as well.
Thank you.
Hearing no other comments, Board, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries 5-0. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. And Superintendent, to hear you read that sounds very impressive. I hope I don't disappoint, but I'll be brief and just say I thank you and the board for the opportunity to serve the learners of Osceola in this new role. Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
And if I could invite Mr. Dontarius Rolls to the podium, please. Board members, Dontarius has been a safety training and recruiter, a route supervisor, and project manager for the Leon County Schools Transportation Department. He received his bachelor's degree in organizational psychology from St. Leo University, and I'm pleased to recommend Mr. Rolls for the second coordinator of transportation position that will be opening as of July 1st due to retirements.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Castillo with a second by Mr. Weishauer. Any further comments, questions? All those in
Welcome
favor.
to Osceola.
All those in favor of Mr. Rolls signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries 5-0. Congratulations and welcome to Osceola.
I would like to thank the board and Dr. Pace, Mr. Creech, Director of Transportation, for allowing me this opportunity, and I come to bring a wealth of knowledge and do a great job for you guys. So I thank you all.
Thank you. Good luck to you.
Good luck.
And now if I could invite Dr. Millie Torres to the podium. Board members, I am pleased to recommend Dr. Torres to become the assistant principal at Bellalago Academy. She's been a teacher at PS 132 in the Juan Pablo Duarte School in New York, a teacher at Sunrise Elementary, a teacher at Bellalago, and currently serves as the Dean of Students at Bellalago Academy. She received her bachelor's degree in psychology from Bernard Baruch College of the City University, a master's degree in bilingual childhood education from the City College of the City University of New York, and a doctorate degree in instruction and curriculum leadership from North Central University. And I'm confident Dr. Torres will be an asset to Dr. Rasmussen and Ms. Rogers and the rest of the leadership team at Bellalago.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Weishauer with a second by Ms. Castillo to approve. Any further comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries 5-0. Congratulations. Good luck.
Thank you so much to the school board of Osceola County, Dr. Pace and Mr. Allen for this opportunity. I came to Osceola County in 2005 when Isaac was one year old. And I started teaching there under Mr. Campbell, who asked me if I was flexible because our school wasn't built yet. So I had the opportunity to see a portable for the first time, and I've watched our district grow. I then moved over to Bellalago and had the opportunity to work under Wendy Honeycutt for a few years, and she also, just like Mr. Campbell, always encouraged me to kind of like spread my wings and show more than what I was doing in the classroom and for my team in kindergarten and as a first grade teacher. And then I had the opportunity to work with Dr. Rasmussen, who totally gets me, and my Excel spreadsheets that I love. And we have a great relationship. I like his vision for our school, and I'm really excited about this. And I want to thank my husband, Alvin Olivo, who's also a teacher for this district. I love the district of Osceola County. Isaac is now he just finished his first year of high school at the School for the Arts. And Allie, who's also sitting back there, she's a student at Bella Lago, and I wouldn't have it any other way. This is the best district, and thank you so much for this opportunity.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations.
But we're only great because of folks like you, so just remember that. That's what makes us great.
And now if I could invite Mr. Jack Carr to the podium. Board members, I'm pleased to recommend Mr. Jack Carr to become the assistant principal at Liberty High School. During his career, he's been a teacher at Discovery Intermediate, a teacher at Celebration School, a literary coach and dean of students at Celebration School, and currently has been a dean of students at St. Cloud Middle. He received his bachelor's degree in middle childhood education from Walsh University and a master's degree in educational leadership from Stetson University. And I'm confident Mr. Carr will be an asset to Ms. Cruz and the work that she's going to be doing with the leadership team at Liberty High School.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Weishire with a second by Mr. Booth. Board, any further discussion?
No.
Hearing none. All those in favor of Mr. Carr, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries 5-0. Congratulations. Good luck to you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Pace, Dr. Fritz, Dr. Reinhardt, and school board members. I'm truly overcome with gratitude for the opportunity to serve the community of Point Siena again, as well as the students and community of Liberty High School. I'd like to thank my parents, extended family, my personal and professional mentors, many of whom are in this room. So thank you, guys. And I'm just grateful for the opportunity. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Good luck.
And now if I could invite Ms. Esther Towers, to the podium. Board members, I am pleased to recommend Esther to become our assistant principal at OTEC in Point Siena. During her career, Ms. Towers has been a teacher at Kissimmee Middle, a teacher at Professional and Technical High School, dean of students at Gateway, and dean of students at OTEC. She received her bachelor's degree in health, physical education, and recreation from the University of North Carolina at Pembroke, and a master's degree in educational leadership from Southeastern University. And I'm confident that Esther will be a great leader for us out at that Point Siena campus in OTEC, helping it to grow.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Weishire with a second by Ms. Castillo. Further comments? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries 5-0. Congratulations, Ms. Dowd.
Wish we could get that on camera for everybody.
I would like to thank the board. Thank you, Dr. Pace and district leaders. Thank you to my family and my crew, my OTEC crew. Our mission statement is every student future ready. We're committed to our students, but as you can tell, we're committed as a staff also, which makes it an even better opportunity. So thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And now if I could ask Ms. Kalu to come back to the podium. She's doing double duty tonight. Board members, I am pleased to recommend Ms. Kalu to become the new assistant principal at Point Siena Academy of Fine Arts with Dr. DeSantis and the team. She has been a paraprofessional at Deerwood Elementary School, a teacher at Point Siena Academy of Fine Arts, a teacher at Narcoossee Middle, LRS literacy coach at Horizon Middle, and district research teacher for the Osceola School District since 2017. She's a graduate of Point Siena High School, and she received her bachelor's degree in criminology from the University of Florida, a master's degree in curriculum and instruction from the University of Phoenix, a specialist degree in educational leadership from Nova Southeastern, and is a candidate for her doctorate in curriculum and teaching from Nova Southeastern. And I am proud to be Beth to recommend Ms. Kalu for you.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Ms. Castillo with a second by Mr. Booth. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Go Gators. Like sign.
Good evening, Dr. Pace, school board members, Dr. Fritz, Dr. Respis, Mr. Allen, Dr. Reinhardt, Dr. DeSantos, and respected members of our community.
Take your time. You're fine.
Today, I extend my deepest gratitude. Sorry. I promised myself I wasn't going to cry. Okay. Today, I extend my deepest gratitude to you for naming me the next proud assistant principal of Poinciana Academy of Fine Arts. I am so ecstatic to continue working in my very own community.
We're proud of you.
And afforded this wonderful opportunity to be a positive light to our students. I would like to extend a sincere thank you to all of my professional mentors who provided me with an immense amount of guidance and support. Mr. Allen, who was my teacher at Horizon Middle School, took me from Papa and carried me through the way. Mrs. Clayton for always giving me guidance. Mrs. Henninger for giving me a chance to be an instructional coach. Ms. Connolly and Mr. Gould. To my middle school team, I'm so appreciative. I'm so appreciative of our wonderful bond, and I'll cherish them forever. Lastly, I'd like to thank God, my family, my fiance, my future family, my extended family, and all of my fellow coworkers who never stopped believing in me. Thank you so much.
Congratulations. I think we all love your passion.
Awesome to have people as passionate as you guys.
It's
And
a
it's
very
awesome.
great example of what we celebrate in this community. So thank
Absolutely.
you.
And now, if I could invite Mr. Nathan DeWright to the podium. Board members, I am pleased to recommend Nathan DeWright for a transfer to become the assistant principal at Kissimmee Middle. Kissimmee Middle is bursting at the seams and has earned another assistant principal, and we believe this would be a great opportunity for Mr. DeWright to bring his experience and passion to a new community. He has been a teacher at Kissimmee Elementary, the dean of students at Dinjon Middle, and has been the assistant principal at Least Lake Elementary since 2013. He received his bachelor's degree in elementary education from Kuka College and a master's degree in educational leadership from Nova Southeastern University. And I'm confident Mr. DeWright will be an asset to the team.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Weishauer with a second by Mr. Booth. Board, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries 5-0. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Board, for the opportunity. Dr. Pace, Assistant Superintendents, I'm very appreciative of the opportunity to go to a middle school back where I began in Kissimmee. I'd like to thank my principals, Mrs. Burdette and Mrs. DeLuca, for the help along the way and encouraging me to be a great leader. And thank you to my wife, Amanda, and my family for the support, as I know sometimes they're loud, I'm sorry. I know they're long days, so they're hanging with me and they support me, so thank you very much.
As long as you don't start crying.
I will not be crying.
Congratulations, Nick.
Congratulations.
Last but certainly not least, if I could invite Ms. Noble to run to the podium. Board members, I am pleased to recommend Ms. Noble to become our new assistant principal at East Lake Elementary School following the opening that Mr. DeWright leaves behind. She has been a teacher at Central Avenue Elementary, at Kissimmee Elementary, and Ivy Lane Elementary, the reading coach at Ross Jeffries Elementary, the elementary instructional resource teacher for the Osceola School District since 2005. She received her bachelor's degree in elementary education from Mount Union College, a master's degree in K-12 reading education from the University of Central Florida, and certification in educational leadership from Stetson University. I am confident Ms. Noble will be a great partner for Ms. DeLuca, leading the team at Eastlake.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Booth with a second by Mr. Weishauer. Board, any further discussion? All those in favor, Ms. Noble signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries 5-0. Congratulations, Steve.
Dr. Pace, board members, thank you so much for the opportunity to serve the students, the parents, the teachers, the community of Eastlake Elementary. I am very, very excited. Heartfelt thanks to Dr. Respis, Dr. Fritz for your support and leadership opportunities this past year. It's been amazing. A special thank you to my elementary curriculum team. They are top notch. And last but not least, my family sitting in the front row. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, we thank you for putting up for Scott.
It's tough. It's the toughest job.
Since he's a Duck Dynasty superstar.
We thank you for your family's dedication to our district and our students.
Thank you.
Congratulations. This will bring us to our public comment portion, but I know a lot of you are here for presentations, awards, and appointments, so if you would like to leave, this is a good time to get up and make your way out. If you want to stay, we'd love to have you stay. But we will give you a minute.
Congratulations, guys.
Oh, so proud. That is proud. How come? Is that a net tally? Is that a net tally? He's the minister.
Yeah, he's pastor.
Is she? She knows you. She knows you. Unfortunately, we do have some good news to share. Yeah, isn't that cute? You know how to clear the room.
Mr. Allen, how old are you?
I feel old.
You don't look old.
No, thank you.
A plus.
A plus.
She's only 22, so.
I left it out there already. And as they make their way out, we'll go ahead and move forward. If Luis Rivera is here, you can go ahead and make your way up here. Are you Luis?
Yes.
Yeah, give him just a second to get on out, but you can come on up and.
Couldn't hear you at all, sorry.
Mr. Rivera, we give you 3 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Talk, and you state your name and address. And
like we did last time?
Yep.
I'm going to put a timer on my phone, so I don't want to go over you.
We'll tell you. We got it. I'll wave at you if you get over.
You'll buzz me out?
Yep.
Luis Rivera, 3078 Point Place Avenue, Kissimmee, Florida. All right. If you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. Don't complain. Maya Angelou. I'm very proud of my son. He has superseded our expectations. Xavier plays the bass clarinet, gets straight A's, competed in both cross country and track. And these past 2 months, as a family, to make this happen, it was real difficult. We cannot replicate this an entire school year next year if my trespass isn't rescinded from my son's school. In March of this year, one of the administrators shook my hand and said, "I don't feel safe with you here," and I was escorted off my son's school. I requested the report from the sheriff, and it said that my worrisome behavior and hostile communication is the reason for the trespass. The report also added tales about an anonymous caller referencing harassing my neighbors and the concern for Dr. Long and her SRO. The allegations are all false. It is unjust for a school to trespass a parent by an anonymous caller with no facts. Furthermore, it's unjust not to investigate such allegations. With only 3 minutes to speak, I'm going to conclude with my conclusion. In short, I ask that someone work with the leadership to please rescind this trespass at my son's school I promise to be the traditional parent who does nothing, who doesn't attend meetings, who doesn't engage with the school. I vowed not to be so worrisome. I missed my son's best and final concert, and I don't want to miss another. I have never missed a concert, lesson, or game. My only regret is probing too much on safety, trying to direct the priority of the SROs to safeguard the school and not to conduct the traffic duties during dismissal or at dismissal. All I want to do is be able to pick up my son and drop him off accordingly, attend concerts, and see his teachers accordingly. Under your rules of board 9.63 section 4A, authorities to direct a person to leave. Have I disrupted, threatened, harassed emails or persons at school? No. Attempted to cause harm, threaten anyone? No. Intentionally caused damage to the school? No. Disrespected anybody at the school, including the SRO, staff, teachers? No. Did I donate the entire 6th grade band goodie bags for their first concert and gold pins? Yes. And I did this with principal and band director approval. Their emails would end with, as always, thank you so much for your continued support and making me aware of this matter. Have a great weekend. Thank you for your support for our annual run. These are emails from the school recently. Have I ever received an email from anybody at my son's school expressing that my emails are verbally aggressive, intimidating, unwanted, or worrisome? No. I got like 20 seconds. The incident report said the anonymous person, the incident report did not, in the incident report, did the anonymous person say I made any threats, implied threats, threatened anybody, or ever made threats? No. Have I attended SAC meetings? Yes. Did they end well? Yes. Did I request safety checks during concerts and sporting events to safeguard my child because there are no SRO present at those times? Yes. Am I unhappy with the school not having crossing guards? Yes. Am I concerned? The priority is traffic and not safety at the time of dismissal? Yes. Am I mad or angry because of any of this? No. I'm just bothered, concerned, disappointed. I'm not angry. Do I love law enforcement? Yes. And lastly, do I respect the SRO at my son's school and in general? Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the list is Lori Swally from OCEA.
Mr. Thacker, I think maybe Miss Barbara would.
We're doing
Oh, you're going to do them together?
It'll be easy
Okay.
for you, and we can get it set
And we have
up.
Barbara Gleason too, so if you would, just both state your name for the record. And
Good evening. My name is Lori Swaby, 722 Mabott Street, Kissimmee, Florida, 34741, and I'm the chief negotiator for the teachers.
And my name is Barb Gleason. I also live at 722 Mabette Street, Kissimmee, Florida, 34741.
Let's just make this clear, you don't live there.
We don't live
That's
there,
the
but
office
that's
of
our
OCEA.
address. Yes, that's the office of OCEA. And I'm the chief negotiator for the education support professionals.
I just wanted to share tonight with you the results of the contract ratification for the teachers. It was 1,569 for, 172 against, and there were 167 schools, and of those, or 167 votes, and of those, 26 were invalid due to errors in voting, so they were not counted.
And for our education support personnel, we had 642 for, 55 against, so that was 92% to 8%. 14 ballots were invalidated due to voting errors. 9 of those were for and 5 were against. And I want to thank both members of the bargaining teams for their time and effort that we put into this, and for our employees for taking the time to vote.
thank you all very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, procedurally, we have a ratification. We're good? Is that Tell me what,
We're good, because the board approved the ratification process at our last
Right.
meeting. So we are settled. We are currently still in negotiations with Teamsters, but we're very, very pleased, and I would just like to say thank you to the leadership who's here tonight for helping us reach such a positive result.
okay. Very good. That concludes our public comment portion. If there's nobody else has any comments, we will close that down and move forward. Calvin, I think we can get to it. Just in order. So I talked about moving an item up, but I think we can get there on time anyway. There are agenda modifications, Board, and Dr. Pace, I think you have a couple removals.
Yes, sir. Unfortunately, Board, we have 3 contract situations that we've not been able to reach final agreement on, so I would ask the Board that we pull items 9.02, 11.11, and 19.01. 19.02 is a contract with K-12 education that we're still working through some issues on. 11.11 is the approval of an award for the Poinciana High School lighting. That bid came in well over our budget, and we're going to have to go back to the ground work there. And then 19.01 is the Yates property agreement that we have some final questions on.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with those modifications.
I have a motion from Mr. Booth with a second by Mr. Soto to approve the agenda as well as the consent agenda with removal of 11.11, 19.01, and 9.02. Board, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries 5-0. Tanya, did we do that okay for the, okay. Brings us to our informational items, which is in our packet. There's no questions on that. We will move forward to our regular agenda items, facilities.
Mr. Chairman, on number 16.01, facilities, I'll make a motion to approve as submitted.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Soto with a second by Ms. Castillo. Board, any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries 5-0.
Make a motion to approve 17.01.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Mr. Booth, the second by Mr. Soto to approve item 17.01. Board, any further discussion or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, like sign. Motion carries 5-0. Next, item 18.
So 1801 and 1802 are action items. 1803 is a discussion item. That's correct.
Yes, sir.
So
you'll
I'll-
need to do those
You
separately.
want to do it? We'll just do them separately, make it easier on you, Ms. Tanya?
Yes.
How about 1801? Make a motion for approval.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion, excuse me, motion by Mr. Booth, second by Mr. Soto for 18.1. Any further comments, questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries 5-0.
Make a motion to approve item 18.02.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Castillo with a second by Mr. Soto to approve item 18.02. Any further questions, Board? Comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries 5-0. Dr. Pace.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chair and members of the board, I appreciate this opportunity to bring forward an item for discussion and consideration regarding our school uniform policy or student dress code. As you know, the board that came much before you, I believe it was back in 2006, 7, approved a school uniform policy which has served us well. It has actually earned the district some additional funds as a part of the state's school uniform grant money, which we have dedicated towards school safety and procedures. But I know that as I have walked campuses over the last couple of years, it has become more concerning about the level of consistency in terms of its enforcement and the way we have been carrying that out. this becomes an item of concern really when it comes down to school safety and security, particularly as it comes down to outer garments. Things like hoodies and sweatshirts, which are very, very popular items with the students, but which sometimes then allow students to not really be identified as students on our campus. Whereas consistent enforcement of a school uniform policy or school dress code policy would allow us, I think, to more readily identify the folks who are meant to be on the campus at any particular time. It is a policy, so in order to make formal changes, we will have to go through a policy-making cycle. What I'm seeking from you all tonight is really some consensus and direction so that we could potentially initiate that as a part of our next rulemaking cycle and begin to communicate consistently to our administrators and to our students and parents this summer what the board's expectations are going to be for a school uniform policy. There are two elements that are problematic, at least from a principal's perspective and an educator's perspective, in terms of consistent enforcement. One of those has been the requirement that shirts be tucked in. Sometimes because of different body shapes and sizes, that becomes somewhat challenging for some of our students, particularly as they're moving into secondary school, middle and high school, and more conscious of their body shapes and sizes and how that relates. And also then the concept of having to wear a belt. I have prepared for you a suggested communication that could go to parents of our elementary, middle, and high school students for the upcoming school year that would remove those two items. We would still have the choice of khaki pants or denim pants or shorts or skirts or whatever, as long as they were of appropriate length. The idea of collared polo shirts in white or navy with additional colors that the schools may identify based on their school shirts, as well as the opportunity on Fridays to wear school-sponsored T-shirts. But then I think we could cover some of the other pieces with just a short addition. So we would still expect the size of shirts and pants to be appropriate to the student's body size and not oversized or undersized. Hems of short skirts or dresses extending to mid-thigh. Undergarments must not be visible. With that caveat, that really eliminates the requirement for a belt. If we say your undergarments are not going to be visible, you're going to have to wear your pants at your waist, or at least at an appropriate place that makes sense. And then being very clear about outer garments with the sweatshirts and hoodies that would either be removed, unzipped, or left open upon campus arrival, except in cases of inclement weather or cold weather days, and even then the expectation that those things would be removed, unzipped, or left open while inside our classroom buildings. Elementary and middle school students, it's closed-toe heels, but we no longer require just athletic shoes as long as it's something that is appropriate for PE. High school students have been permitted to wear sandals. Hats are not permitted except when approved by the principal for inclement weather. And ultimately, we do trust our school administrators to have final authority. But my communication to school administrators would be that we have a policy. The board is consistently expecting that we're going to enforce it, and that's going to be my expectation for them as well. So really, the only changes I would recommend would be the tucking in of shirts and the belt. And I think this would provide clarity for that, but I need to hear where the board is on that before I initiate a rulemaking cycle and start moving down this path.
Mr. Booth?
So, I kind of brought this up with Dr. Pace and got the ball rolling on this. I'm sorry. I apologize. First of all, I want to make clear that there is no more money from the state for anything that we do. So just for the public to know, by changing anything that we do, doesn't matter anymore money-wise for state funding. I guess I'm fine with all this. I guess my one question would be, because I'm in so many schools and my daughters and my son in school, the big issue is the hoodies. I see we're actually changing. It's okay to have a non-zipper fronted hoodie if we make this change. That'd be another change, correct? It's always been my understanding that the students had to wear a hoodie with a zipper.
Is that correct, Tom?
So
Yes.
this would be a change, but obviously.
Or do we not want that change?
And that's what I need direction from the board.
Well,
I will
I
tell
would
you
like
that hoodies are
before-
incredibly popular, but the challenge has been they wear a
I
hoodie
wanna
to school
hear
and they
from-
never take it off.
I want to hear from
I want to hear from principals on that before we do that. Look, I would be okay with it, I guess, but certainly there may be something that I'm missing here. I know we've had this discussion when I think it was Osceola High School had their hoodie sales. Isn't that right, Mr. Thacker? Where they wanted to sell their school hoodies, and they allowed them, but and there was some discussion and some issues with that. So, sir, I apologize for being under the weather today. I know I sound a little nasal.
Are we asking, as far as the hoodies, Dr. Pace, are we asking that they remove it, or are we just concerned about them having their head covered
the
while
head
they're in
cover,
school?
right?
The challenge has been that a lot of the kids are wearing the hoodies all day so as to not comply with dress code
You mean
at all.
when you say wearing the hoodie? I want to understand. Are they have the head covering part of the hoodie while they're inside the school?
No,
They're not supposed to.
Right, they're not supposed to.
correct. It's
Okay,
the
but what we want- we want a
sweatshirt,
policy where they don't even have it on at all while they're in school.
not when they arrive on campus or in a classroom, unless the weather is inclement and they need it for warm weather or cold weather.
Or cold weather. And our schools are temperature controlled, obviously. We have all those things.
Mr. Weishaupt?
It's interesting because I'm fine, by the way, with the belt, and I'm fine with the shirt piece, just so we're all clear. My only question was going to be on the hoodie sweatshirt piece, I guess, as well, which is maybe a little interesting. We're all kind of hitting on that. I think I just need to understand more. Maybe I do understand it, but understand more the concerns and how to best mitigate what it is you're trying to mitigate, and maybe walk me through this a little bit more as far as the reality of what our administrators and teachers and support personnel are dealing with regard to sweatshirts and hoodies. I understand that students are wearing them all day in 95-degree weather.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen it. Lance used to do
My
it at Bellevue
14-year-old
all the
daughter.
time, and I was like, why are you wearing that? It's like 9,000 degrees outside. So I get it, but talk to me maybe about just the mechanics of all this. Like, what do we achieve?
The
What
challenge
don't
with the hoodies has been the kids wearing it all day and then not being in dress code at all, and then not being readily and easily identified as this is a student who's wearing a polo shirt who belongs on one of our campuses if we don't necessarily know them. Now, that's one thing if you've got an elementary school with 750 kids. It's something very different when you've got a high school that's up to 2,800 kids, which is what Celebration High School is approaching as we move forward into a new school year. The hoodies, if we just said you're not going to wear them at all, that's going to be, is that a hill that we're ready to stand on firmly because they are very, very popular? Or would a procedure that says you can wear the hoodie, but once you go into the building, into the classroom, you're going to take it off, and we're going to make sure that you're still in dress code? And I'll be honest, as a former administrator and as a teacher, I'm not a big one. I don't think we give kids detention or Saturday school or whatever for dress code. Instead, we get some provisions of hand-me-down shirts that are in dress code, and if you're not in dress code, you change until you're in dress code. Or somebody brings you something else to change into so that you're not going on about your day, but it also doesn't become something that we're constantly like punishing to a point that we're going to suspend kids over dress code, but to have a clear and consistent expectation that we all can stand on and agree these are the rules that are important for safety and security and being able to easily identify kids, and we're going to insist that you follow them. That's what I really want us to get to. And I'll enforce whatever you want us to enforce, but those concessions about the tucked-in shirts and the belts and potentially allowing hoodies, I felt like were a point of compromise that could get to a place where kids and parents could say, you know what, that's reasonable. Teachers and principals would have clear guidelines that they're going to insist that people follow, and we would still achieve that goal of being easily identified.
Okay, Ms. Castillo, but you following
I
up?
just want to follow up on that. So I guess I'm just so we're using hoodie somewhat generically, I think. But tell me if I'm right here. If it's an outer garment with a hood, technically it's a hoodie, whether it's zipped or not zipped. What about a jacket that has a hood? And I'm not trying to play semantics. I'm just trying to understand where the lines will be, because ultimately, of course, students are going to come to school in our cooler months with some type of outer garment on, as they should. I understand the idea of being able to identify our students and having the uniformity that we're looking to achieve within the school. I get all that. I guess I'm just trying to follow up on the clarification of sweatshirt with a hood, hoodie with a zipper, jacket with a hood? I mean, help me.
I don't typically think of a hoodie as one with a zipper. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I wear them.
No, that's
But what I'm saying, I think of the hoodie as being one that doesn't have a zipper.
Yeah, but
It pulls it over the neck, and it has a
Calling
hood.
a hoodie is pull it over.
Yeah.
Well, but that's not accurate. Just so you know, I wear them.
But that's what kids
With
think it
zippers,
is.
with a hood.
Yep.
When I'm rolling, that's what I do.
The homies. When you're rolling with the homies. Okay. Just to clarify, I heard that OHS is or was selling, I guess, are we calling them pullovers now?
Pullover hoodie?
With their pullover hoodie with their logos. Is that something that we can maybe expand to other schools that
A
way?
lot of schools do that.
They do?
A lot of
Okay.
schools or athletic departments, booster clubs, PTAs have sold the what I call a hoodie, the pullover with a hood that doesn't zip up and down.
Yeah.
With their logos.
So would those be an exception if a student is wearing that specific pullover hoodie with the logo in a classroom? Is that an exception because we can't identify that student?
If that's the direction that the board wants to go, I certainly can
If you don't
support
mind, Ms.
that.
Castillo,
Please.
because that was one of my questions. I was going to say, maybe, since high school is the big concern here, right? Like, we're not worried about the elementary kid with the hoodie. really
Elementary
that
school
much.
kids
I
are
mean,
pretty
I get
good
it.
about following the dress code. But for the
So
other piece
is-
about the tucking in of shirts and belts is it's harder for your little guys.
I get it. Maybe at the high school, we do say there's just, and I don't know if it's Booster Club or whatever that
way
gets
for
to
them to make
sell
funds.
the approved hoodie. If you want to wear a hoodie, you got to wear that hoodie. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not saying I'll get behind that. I'm just throwing it out there. But I did want to make one comment too. Really, what the main conversation that I've had with Dr. Pace, gosh, Tim, you're killing me. Really what I've had here, the conversations really with Dr. Pace have gone because I've had family members that worked at Neptune Middle School. And if it said it on the dress code, you better be doing it. Or they were calling your parent. They were tying a hay string around you as a belt. They were doing that, pulling up your pants, all that kind of stuff, right? I have my other family worked at other schools where they just don't really care. And then somewhere in between where my daughters go to school, I won't name the school, they've actually been in trouble for wearing the hoodie because it wasn't the zip. But then all the other dress code stuff that was in the dress code, with tucking in, the belt, nobody cares about that, just only the zipper. So my conversations with Dr. Pace have really led to, I think we need something that is consistent across all of our schools, the complete district, and I'm okay with taking some things back, and since there's no more money involved in this whole issue. That's where I was coming from when I started this conversation with Dr. Pace, and I knew that we would get to this point but for me, I think turn it over to your committee. I would want to get some feedback, Chairman Thacker, from our principals, teachers, whoever wants to give feedback on this, and then let's move forward. We have the dress code committee.
We do.
Mr. Phelps is. Do they call you the chairman or the boss or what?
He's the
Chief Homie?
facilitator.
And we did meet. We met several weeks ago, and these some of these items were discussed. We discussed hoodies, and we decided to leave the language the way it currently reads. Would you like me to read the language that's in there?
And we can always pull the committee back together
Absolutely.
now that I'm hearing from you all kind of where you are. Because what I'm kind of hearing is that if it was a school logo hoodie, you might be okay with that. No, yes?
I would, yeah. And I would especially be okay with it if it means that, some of our clubs can use that to get funds.
Tom, before you read that, Mr. Soto's got one more comment, and he's got to leave, so I'm going to let him, if you don't mind.
So this is not for a short discussion. I will go ahead and trust on that we would, I like Mr. Booth's recommendation that we involve a lot more of the stakeholders in this. I'd like to hear from the wisdom of the people who deal with this on an everyday basis, not just through you, but also maybe a little bit more in depth. And I also would encourage to have parents and just folks, because too much control We're doing so well, 67 out of 67, and you guys accomplish what you do. It's just amazing. It really is. And I don't want to take away from so many of the positive things that we do here by making it seem as though we're exerting an invisible hand, controlling too much. And so we really need to have the right balance. So I'll just leave you with that because I do have another commitment to go to, and I look forward for this conversation to continue.
Well, and I appreciate the board's feelings on this, and I think I have enough for us to pull together a committee, and we'll make sure that we have parents, students, and administrators and teachers involved in the discussion.
I want to add one thing to this
Personally,
conversation.
I'm okay with the hoodies. I'd just like to put that out there. But I would like to know, being okay with that, tell me what the concerns are that I'm missing of being on the ground at the school.
Yeah, go ahead.
While you've been talking, I've been researching online. A number of school districts have addressed the issue. They talk about hoodies being a problem with students having earphones in and teacher trying to address them and they're not hearing it. But in reading some of their policies, some of them went beyond hoodies. It said when you arrived, you couldn't wear any outer garments, jackets, etc. You could wear your shirt, but you had to put it in the locker, gloves, scarves. So they didn't zero in just on hoodies. So I think there's a lot of stuff we can find on the internet to see what other districts experienced as part of the research.
Okay.
There's a common sense piece here too. If it's 40 degrees outside, which is, I know it's rare, but come on, and that's what. Yes, I want consistency, but I also want the principals to be able to make those decisions. We know everybody's coming to school with a jacket and the gloves and a toboggan or whatever today, and that's okay.
A couple quick things. I'm good with the idea of there being school logo type stuff. Dr.
I like
Pace,
that.
that doesn't bother me at all. I would just follow up to say that I think the way we're using the term hoodie is a little bit generic, and we probably want to be a little bit more clear on what it is we're really trying to say through that and what it is we're trying to mitigate. But as a whole, just so you hear it from me, I'm good with the direction that we're going in. I don't have any major heartburn over any of this. I would just tweak and clarify what it is we're trying to do, and I'll probably be fine.
I think you've got direction, Dale. I do just want to add my 2 cents to it, because I might have a little different viewpoint than some of these people. I do believe kids like boundaries, and this was actually on my list for the summer. I can't stand if the rules don't need to be followed, it shouldn't be a rule. And when you tell kids there's rules and you don't let them follow them, how do they know which rule not to follow and which ones to follow? So I'm all for getting it where it needs to be. I always thought the hoodie issue was a safety issue, and Lester, somebody, if they can, with the committee, I'm fine with whatever the committee does, but I just want to make sure somebody, if I was told wrong that it's really not a safety issue, I don't care, but if it is a safety issue on not being able to see what kids have on or what they have connected to them, I trust y'all's judgment on it. But I think you've got the guidance you need from the board. I think the board's willing to listen. I guess I'm a little bit, I hear getting the committee together and what I don't want to do is get to something that gets to be so radical that we have 2,000 people here and we get this whole place divided on what we're doing.
Yeah, that's a good point. My opinion on this, by the way, are these simple, nuanced changes and nothing more. I'm not looking to completely change what we have, the belt, the shirt, and then just clarity around this. For me, that's it. Anything beyond that,
Me too.
I would shut the whole conversation down and say stay where we are.
I wouldn't bring it forward. Okay.
I like it.
Okay. All right. You're good to go, Dr. Pace?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Mr. Krippenbacher.
Yes, item
1901 is removed.
Right, .02 is approval of the interlocal agreement negotiated by facilities for the cost sharing of Narcousie Elementary School entrance modifications. And the dollar amount that was negotiated is contained in the agreement.
Okay. Board?
I have 2 questions on this, when and if there's a motion.
We can have discussion first.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. 2 questions. One, Mr. Clinch, I believe this will probably come to you. I was looking at the drawings that are provided. I guess what is it that we're accomplishing with the change? And then the second question is probably going to come to you, Frank, I imagine, is the breakdown on the math and the proportion it shares. How is that derived? So I think the first is the functional piece.
They would both go to Mark.
Okay.
I was not involved in the negotiations on the dollars.
So from the functional standpoint, the challenge that we have at Narcoossee Elementary, which shares a site with Narcoossee Middle School, is traffic circulation, in that there is one lane that comes into the school, and that lane stacks and backs up, not allowing the elementary school traffic to circulate properly. So part of these improvements would include adding that new lane, so that the elementary school would have a dedicated right-hand turn lane. Also, as part of that original design, the turn radii that goes into Narcoossee Elementary School was designed as single lane, and then it turns to 2 lanes. So what should have happened is to carry the 2 lanes through the entire turn radii. So by adding the right turn lane, we will then be able to create 2 funnels of traffic to go into the elementary school. Hence, that will increase our on-site stacking capabilities. For the egress component, there's a lane that will be added so that when egressing the school, both the elementary and the middle school will merge into 2 lanes and will have the option to turn either left or right. And that capability does not exist today.
Okay. What prompted this change? Was it the county's concern with traffic issues and working to find ways to mitigate that on site, or was it our concerns with stacking and better flow and efficiency of traffic within our property?
Yes,
both?
sir. The issue started from the county's review of that situation, and I believe that started from citizen complaints. So the county staff was commissioned to go out and study the traffic flows and to determine that there was a problem. So in the course of the issues, we were asked to join with the county to provide recommendations. So collectively, the county and the school district provided recommendations to solve this issue. And that's what that design today emulates.
Okay. And then the proportionate share between the school board and the county commission that's been identified in the interlocal agreement, I imagine that part of that is the county dealing with the aspects that are immediately on Narcoossee Road, and then the school board picking up the portions that are within our physical property?
Correct. The county will pick up the portion that's in the public right-of-way, and the school district will pick up the portion that's on the school site.
Okay. And then, thank you, Mr. Clinch, for everything. As far as from a school operations standpoint, has this been a point of contention or concern for the school itself?
Yes, it would significantly alleviate traffic concerns there.
Okay. Mr. Booth, you're good?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Booth to approve with a second by Mr. Weishauer.
Just one
I have a question. I have a comment too.
Go ahead.
Is the intent to do this right now and get it done before school starts?
It is our attempt to get this work done this summer. The issue is coming to us very late. We're already into our summer, but we are making an attempt to complete the work over the summer. That is contingent on completing the design. It's 90% completed. We need the review comments incorporated by the county, and then we will be ready to take it out to bid. So bidding will be contingent on...
If there's any issues of the county of trying to get this through, if you can let some of the board members know, we can...
And the county has offered to assist in the permitting process. We will need a right-of-way permit.
Yep.
They have offered to assist with that. But the other challenge is bid coverage and getting a bid price that will meet our project budget.
Hopefully we
what
can
we're
find
seeing
somebody.
is, as Dr. Pace mentioned, with fence contractors and such, that we're seeing a good amount of saturation at this point.
At this price point, does it have to go through the full bid process?
It does.
Okay.
Yes.
Even with our continuing service people?
Yes.
Okay.
So today's June 4th.
Better be digging.
School starts August, what's the exact date?
Teachers return on the 6th, students on the 12th.
August 12th.
Better start digging
That's
tomorrow.
pretty quick, Mark.
Yes, it is.
Clinch.
You know, if we can get a bid negotiated, the work is not very difficult. It's more working through the bid process and getting bidders that, a bid that aligns with our project budget.
Mark, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
if the board was to decide, if I researched, that there was a safety emergency, could you negotiate a competitive price and move quicker without bidding? I mean, you'd bid, but you wouldn't go through what I call the exhaustive bid process.
We're still required to follow the bid processes as established by our procurement department.
Yeah, but if they turned around and said there was an emergency, you can waive the processes. So what I'm asking you is, if you did not have to go through those processes, would you be able to negotiate a competitive bid and actually get it done by the opening of school?
The bid cost is more a function of what contractors come in and bid the price, and that's really going to be the challenge.
Okay.
Is getting that
All right.
that coverage and that bid pricing that aligns with our project budget.
Any further comments?
Yeah, just one last one. Mr. Booth, have you dealt with some constituent concerns regarding this over your years as well?
Narcoossee Middle School, Narcoossee Elementary School is
Yes, I hear that all the time.
positive.
Yeah, I figured so much. I just wanted to ask. So I wanted to support it for that reason as well.
Glad
Okay.
that we've finally got to this point where we can make some changes out there, so thank you, Mr. Clinch.
And then going to the actual agreement, the interlocal agreement, the section 5 that talks about the share that's deposited by the county and the proportionate amount that the school board pays. If it's under that amount, then the amount deposited goes back to the county. My question would be is if it goes over that amount, I know it states that both parties have to agree. If for some reason the bid was over that amount, is the county willing to, are we using like a percentage of payment on this? If it went up by $200, they pay their proportionate, or went down by $2,000?
We actually broke down the price for that work in the right-of-way.
Okay.
So it's based on the actual work. And it was my understanding that there was provisions in that agreement to go back to the county and renegotiate if the price exceeds what's established in the agreement.
Yep. Okay.
Anything else? Excuse me, I have a motion by Mr. Booth, a second by Mr. Weissier for approval of 19.02. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion carries 4-0. Superintendent, do you have any other comments?
Just a reminder that we have our Administrator Academy tomorrow at Embassy Suites for all district and school-based leaders, and then on Thursday, we'll have our school-based leaders at OXA, and then our annual steak dinner sponsored by the Silver Spurs Club is Thursday night at the Hastings Ranch. Hope to see you all there.
Mr. Krippenbacher, you have anything else? No. Ms. Castillo?
Nope.
Mr. Weissier?
No, sir.
Mr. Booth, I have one.
I've got one thing.
I do too. Go ahead, you can go.
I just wanted to say, and Rhonda, I see you out there, but Board, as you know, the voters of this county spoke pretty loudly on May 21st. But I think we have to do our part too, and I know we have been doing our part, but maybe even a stronger part of saying, if we don't have the infrastructure and schools, when we say infrastructure, a lot of folks don't realize that school are part of that infrastructure. If we don't have that, then we are really going to have to curb some of the growth that is happening and look at smart ways to do that. I know, Rhonda, I had a conversation with a friend of yours today that's been talking to you. How many homes going on Jones Road, just since we're talking about Narcoossee?
The three communities combined manage just over 1,800 homes once it was all said and done.
1,800 homes just on Jones Road. So we're going to have some major issues going forward. You put 1,800 more homes on Jones Road, with Highway 15 the way it already is, 2 more schools, right? But we don't have the school sites, so that I don't want to get into that discussion. So I just think, board, that we may need to take, and we've talked about doing this in the past, we may need to take more of a lead role in expressing to the counties and the cities when they are approving developments that transportation issues and infrastructure issues, affect our children, affect our school district, and we need to make our voices even louder, I think, on the county and city. And I know Rhonda and I have had this discussion for years, Ms. Blake, so thank you. But we just have to have a louder voice, board, and making sure that the county, the city of St. Cloud, mainly those 2 entities, know that we have to be able to keep up. We just had the discussion day. We are number 67 out of 67 in funding on the state level. That doesn't leave a lot of wiggle room to just pick up and build a school here and pick up and build a school there without a large increase in our tax rolls, which could come from higher end development or commercial or industrial development. So with that, I've said my piece, and we can move on.
That's not what my comment was, but just one comment on that since you brought it up. I think, I'm not sure, making our voice heard, I don't have a problem with that at all. I think without concurrency, I'm not sure that they have
We may not have teeth, but
I'm not sure they have the rights, the legal rights to do that. My question was, since we're in the first week of summer, and I don't know anything about air conditioning or anything how they work other than to turn the one on in my house. But one comment I've gotten an earful of, and like I say, I don't know if this is true or not, within the schools, particularly at OHS, there's some kind of slide deal inside the classrooms that adjust temperatures, and those have all been disabled. And the problem is, when those are disabled, what I'm told, and I don't know if this, I'm happy to say it may not be true, that slide thing is the thing that says it's 78 degrees or 76 in the classroom, so when it's disabled, the rooms are up to 85 degrees in the hallways, or at 78 because it doesn't know. Can somebody figure out before school starts back and it's hotter than Hades in August 7th or whatever it is? It's amazing to me. I've had more concerns and complaints about the air conditioner, and most of them say if it's 76, I don't care, but it's 85. And I don't know why we could keep them set at 74, but we can't get them set at 76. So I'm fine if it's all hearsay, but I've gotten it from the people that are telling me this, particularly at OHS, are saying that's what the maintenance people are telling them when they come in the rooms. They said it won't work this way. So I don't know if it's true or not true. I don't really care.
We will happily follow up.
I did, since you brought that up, I did get a text from a teacher friend of mine, Narcoossee Elementary, by the way, who said that they went in on a day that they weren't scheduled to be there, an extra day. They went in cleaning more stuff out of the room, were denied air conditioner in the room. I don't know if this is true or not, but since Mr. Thacker brought that up, I want to make sure that we are I agree with raising the temperature. And I think, Mr. Thacker, 74 meant whatever you wanted it to be. I don't think we had a standard temperature. I think it was whatever you wanted to set it on. So having a standard temperature working through this process is a good thing. But again, it's kind of the same thing on the school uniforms. Let's be reasonable. If somebody's there working on a day that they're not supposed to be there, turn on the daggone air for them. I didn't mean to go all Bobby Bowden on you right there, but just turn on the air. But just turn on the air, okay? And so let's work through some of these things, and let's have a little bit of give and take here.
We'll certainly
had an after-school event for an award ceremony or something, and the air was off, and they said we don't turn the airs on in the evening.
Well, it's not always as easy as turning on the air in one
I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I don't want to know. I don't want to hear about it.
If there is a special event, all they have to do is submit a work order, and we adjust the timing on the HVAC system for that special event. At no time is the air completely off. Even on the weekends, they just raise the temperature so that it's not blowing full blast. But yes, we will certainly continue to follow up and use common sense as we move forward with this.
I think for me, the quick thought, Deb, Dr. Pace, I know you made the point pretty clear, but Mark's here and Mark's here. the biggest thing is that we use the time that we have over the next couple of months to look at how we can be as most effective and efficient in this process so that when we start back up, everything's as smooth as possible. And I know you're 100% in agreement with that. The last thing you ever want to do, I know this as a fact, is disrupt the learning environment in any way. I know that to be true 1,000%. So we have this time period over the next 6-7 weeks to work through this, maintenance to continue to monitor, regulate, and adjust where needed so that when we do start back up, we're in the right place, accomplishing the right thing on our campuses. I know you're committed to that. That's my big thing, and I think that's where we all
As
are.
long as St. Cloud High School is just a little bit cooler than Osceola.
That won't happen. That won't happen. Before you gavel out, just a quick question, Mr. Booth. When you talk about, I understand your point on making sure that the cities and the county are aware of the impact that it has on us as a school board with regard to building the schools with development. And we don't have to have the conversation now. We can have it down the road maybe even. But I guess I do want to understand a little bit of what you're wanting to accomplish, because you are right. Without concurrency, you don't really have some of those mechanisms. There are legal components that if it conforms with the comprehensive plan, the land use and zoning requirements, then you don't really have the ability not to approve it. And there's a lot of misunderstanding in the community where people say, well, just stop building or just stop growth.
No.
It's illegal, number one.
I understand those
and
things.
then fiscally, it's not prudent when you look at, I mean, everyone knows what happened in our county when the recession happened and 1/5 of the economy in the state, the great gross state product in the state went away, which is the real estate and development and those type of things. The rippling impact that had. So I'm with you because I understand that what you're really saying is, guys, think this through and understand that we need to be at the table to make sure that you are aware of the impacts you create. But I guess I also want to understand what is our message in that.
Well, first of all, I think it goes to a much deeper fight, which goes back to concurrency and back to those things about road infrastructure, about school infrastructure that I actually support. And maybe there's some legal battles that need to take place in the next few years by the cities and by the counties to gain that home rule back. Because I don't think the state should be allowed to be telling communities what they can and can't do. And I know there's some give and take there. But as my discussion with Ms. Blake and the data that I've seen, I mean, we're talking about 1,800 homes, and we were just talking about the congestion at Narcoossee Road and Narcoossee Elementary School. And now, if we build this many homes, we don't have school sites on any of these because they're kind of under the numbers. And I'm talking about having that deeper conversation, too, about school sites, Ms. Blake. Then we're stuck with an elementary school with at 150% capacity and a middle school at 160 and 70% capacity. I mean, when is enough where a community can all band together, where it's us, the county commissioners, the city councilmen, and say, you know what? No, we're going to make a difference here. We're going to make all of our voices heard and say, look, here's what we're going to do to build the best community that we can going forward. And that, there's a lot. I know there's a lot of deep things and a lot of things on the periphery there. I just wanted to make that point here tonight.
So part of this may go back to the conversation earlier about EFBDs and some of those other mechanisms that could be put in place to help fund some of the infrastructure pieces. So that's fine. I just want to understand where, because I agree with what I believe you're trying to say and accomplish. There's a lot to it,
yes,
including infringement of private property rights and that.
I get that.
Yeah.
Get that.
Okay.
There's a balance there.
If that is it, we will stand adjourned. No, I knew you were trying.
I had it.